And you never walk alone. I'm sorry, that's horrible, wasn't it? Well, you will walk alone if you're Trent Alexander-Arnold because he got booed. He got booed at the weekend, lads, and it was horrible, wasn't it?
It weren't nice watching it.
What do we make of it? Watto, come on.
I thought it were really tough. I actually thought at the point that he came on, I weren't quite sure what to expect. And obviously, half were kind of with him, half were against him.
I'd say it was more 70 against him, maybe 80 against him, 20 for him.
I think that, yeah, it's disappointing, isn't it? The thing about what happened was I really loved Robertson's interview after. I thought he really spoke passionately from the heart about what it meant to him to see his friend in that situation. And I actually thought his opinion that people have their own opinions and can go with it, and he gave his forthright opinion. I thought it was spot on.
Toze?
Out of order, really, isn't it? 20 years at a club. I think it's, disappointing is probably the overriding word.
Do you think Arne Slot was a bit out of order putting him on? Because I think as soon as I saw that it was happening, I thought, what are you doing that for?
It's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't, isn't he? If he don't put him on, you kind of like, I don't know, you're like accepting what they're doing a bit more.
What, do you think they want to give him a little bit of a send-off?
Yeah, of course. He deserves it. Why doesn't he deserve it? There's no way he doesn't deserve it.
I'm with you guys. I totally agree with you guys.
I thought the manager did it, A, to try and win the game, but B, to try and give him that little lift up.
Send off.
But the big question will be now, because of what actually has happened, whether Slot thinks that's enough or whether even Trent knocks on the door and says, look, that's me done.
You can't go out like that, can you?
Well, you wouldn't want to, would you? But, like, unless the whole carnival around it changes...
Football's fickle. Football is incredibly fickle, isn't it? And I think that the thought process from the Liverpool fans is he's ran his contract down, he could have signed, he could have got us 50, 60, 70, 100 million quid. But the reality is this, put the boot on the other foot. Let's say that he signed a new contract, a new 3-year contract, and then went to them and said, I want to go to Real Madrid 1 year into his contract. What would happen then? Sorry, mate, you're under contract. Or we want 100 million quid and they don't want to pay it.
And his dream moves off the table.
So his dream move's gone.
Yeah.
So he's damned either way.
Do you know what? It's so hard if you are a Liverpool born and bred player and you make it into the first team to this level of stardom, this level of success. It's almost harder than being a player bought from Real Madrid that's come over and smashed goals and broken records. If you're that homegrown player...
They've done it with Gerrard, didn't they?
There's nothing you can do. You have to stay there. You have to play. You have to sign a new contract.
Well,
that's what it is.
That's what Carragher said, isn't it? Afterwards, he said, "There's all this around it, but for that homegrown Liverpool lad, it's a different feel, and that's why they're disappointed because he's the first one to have done it."
Yeah.
I actually think he's been unfortunate because I think I mentioned it last week on the show when Man United and Ronaldo had it. It were obviously Ronaldo and Fergie had the relationship. Look, listen, you give me one more year at Real Madrid, but obviously Klopp left. It was never a conversation.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So he's been unfortunate with the timing of the managerial change to get to that
If
position.
he signs a contract, he doesn't go. They won't get rid of him.
No one knows if he
let
actually got offered a contract.
100%
Yeah,
got offered.
but no one knows today what the level of that was. Because you know as well, homegrown players don't get paid as much as...
No, they only offered him 200 instead of 250.
I'm sticking up for him, yeah.
No, I'm completely sticking up for him as well. And I was actually listening to TalkSport on the way into work this morning, and there was a really interesting caller, actually. Like, a lot of the Liverpool fans are very upset, they support Liverpool FC, and they almost hate Trent Alexander-Arnold today. They've woken up today and they hate him. They really, really do. But one of the callers, really sensible, actually, he said, think back to Luis Suarez era where Arsenal made the bid in the summer for him of £40 million and £1. Do you remember? And Luis Suarez kicked off. Luis Suarez wanted to go. He wanted to engineer the move. He refused to train. He kicked up a big old fuss about it, right? And he didn't start the first few games of the season. It was a season, actually, where Liverpool went and smashed the season but lost by like a point to Man City or something. It was a record-breaking season. Anyway, he got back into the team pretty sharpish, Luis Suarez, went on an unreal run, scored loads of goals. He's still looked at now as a Liverpool legend, Luis Suarez.
Exactly what Tomo just said, fickle.
Fickle fans, mate. Honestly, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. I really feel for Trent this morning because he'd have woke up today, he'd have gone to bed last night and he'd have been thinking, you know what, I'll give him this club 20 years, 80-odd, 90-odd assists, 25-odd goals. and this is how they treat
But that's
me.
the thing, mate. So if you're him and that happened, you could see in his face, it shocked him.
Yeah.
I think he might have expected something not 100% positivity for sure, but I think the amount and the noise shocked him.
Yeah.
But if you're him and you've gone to bed last night, are you like going into training this morning and going to see the manager and saying, look, I don't want that for the last
It's
2
a really interesting point, honestly it is, because obviously Real want to sign him before the Club World
before the
Cup in the
club,
summer.
yes,
They want him on the
that's
1st of June, don't they? And it's looking like they might have to pay €1-2 million, whatever it is. But if I'm Trent this morning, I'm going in and going, no, get me done. I'm not playing in front of that again.
Look at Bradley, right? If he develops into the player we think he will, then great. But if he doesn't...
It's Trent's fault.
Right, if he doesn't, Liverpool fans wouldn't have a problem with moving him on if he's not quite up to the standard.
Exactly.
And Andy Robertson, he's been there, 8-9 years, and granted he's not born and bred, he's won everything with them, right? And I think he is, fair to say, he's been one of the best left-backs in Europe for the last 6 or 7 years.
Pound for pound coming from Hull,
Hull,
the deal and everything that's going on.
Now, his form's been indifferent. Not indifferent. He's had a couple of moments.
He's been incredible. This last season, you can just see there's a slight, a slight, but still, he's still top level.
Yeah, but if he got moved on, no problem.
I know, lads. Oh, it's horrible, isn't it? I didn't enjoy it yesterday. I really didn't. I think from the season that they've had, it should have been nothing but good vibes yesterday.
Right, and what about this? We were sharing the reel of this AI thing.
How good is it?
This
Have you seen
Jude
that?
Bellingham.
Mate, AI is scary. AI is double scary, right? So you'll be able to find it on Instagram, TikTok, wherever you go and look at these sort of stuff, right? And there's an AI mock-up of a podcast between Trent and Jude Bellingham. It's phenomenal. Honestly, it's
I don't have a clue.
It's them two just having a conversation about Trent saying, like, I can't even... What's the club that he's been banned from now? There's a
Pop World.
Yeah, Pop World. I'm banned from Pop. I can't even go to Pop World.
Don't worry about it, babe.
Don't worry about it, babe. Honestly, it's so good.
I'll show you after the show. It's brilliant.
Here we go. Play it, Jay.
Give me shit on Swithy.
I'll go back to the start, Jay.
Message to Jamie Carragher. Stop giving me shit on Swithy, rat.
Yeah, you tell him, babe.
Yeah, I've been a club legend, lad. I don't want to go to LA Galaxy when I'm 35, my legs are gone. Only reason he didn't go to Chelsea was because some scally were going to chop his legs off anyway.
Honestly, babe, fuck Liverpool.
He just gets on me fucking nerves. He's just jealous he can't get sacked up by Real Madrid like me because I'm sick.
Come on, babe, that's enough now.
He just dropped a bird to me and I can't even go Pot World anymore because I'm banned.
What? We can't go to Pot World? Trent, you might have to go back.
That's unbelievable.
How good is that, by the way? Some clever people out there, some funny people. But can we just move on from the Trent thing a little bit? I just want to talk about Arsenal, right? So obviously everybody's on about they need a striker. I think that's all quite obvious and blah, blah, blah. But the second goal... No, sorry. But the red card for Merino, right, Watto? Yeah. I just watch it and I just think, what are you doing? Just calm down.
Total head loss, wasn't it?
Mate, it's complete head... So Raya's got the ball. He's played it into Merino on the edge of the box, right? And I'm thinking, mate, that's a risky old ball, yeah? You don't need to play that ball for one. You're playing against Liverpool, who are going to press like you wouldn't believe. And the difference between the two teams is the way that they press, by the way. Liverpool press like animals. Arsenal, it was just milky. It was kind of like, we'll kind of show that we're giving it a go, but it was so easy to get through. Anyway, Liverpool are setting this trap, play the ball into Merino, and then boom. And I'm thinking, Merino, you better take an unreal touch here. Your touch better be on point, and you better be able to play it first time or second time straight into that player that's playing it right back or whatever it is. Takes a bad touch, comes out,
Jota
boom,
fouls him.
red card. But still, though, either way, you're asking for trouble,
Two
aren't you?
massive tackles, but you wouldn't I know the game's evolved and changed, and they would have played that action a million times in training, but against the pressing machine,
In the heat of the battle.
feeling the
Cop
game
as well.
Yeah. You're back at 2 apiece.
That's what I mean.
You know what I mean? Just see it through. I mean, you wouldn't want that, would you?
No.
It's game management. That's the bit I don't understand, because total football's still total football, but you've come from nowhere to get back to 2 apiece.
But that's Raya's fault, isn't it, for passing the ball? Because he's the one who is in control of the situation. Marino has to show for it and give the angle, so it gives everyone else time and space around him, behind him, whatever.
If that's the instruction
and you're going
of
to
the
ask
team,
for
Exactly,
it.
exactly.
We play that way.
But still on the keeper.
I think this is where you need leaders. This is where you need somebody, a leader, one or two of them, to go, whoa, 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 whoa. We're away at Anfield. We just got back into this. We were out. We were dead and buried. We're now at 2-2, right?
But they were cooking at the time, weren't they?
Just
really, Arsenal.
Yeah, they were cooking. But still, I'm thinking that needs to be pinpoint perfect every single pass. And the second he takes that bad touch, game over. Done.
Teams live and die by these philosophies, don't they?
Yeah,
they're not just going to change it up, are they? That's the way they do things.
No, they weren't.
Well, you did the thing with him, didn't you? You said he's a great guy, and they would have, as I said, they would have practiced that a million times. But in the heat of the battle at Anfield, and they did have the momentum in the game, but you sometimes got to see and smell it that might be what you've done, but that's also what Liverpool want you to do.
Yeah,
and if you're just off it, then it's big trouble. But
But that's why I think it is Raya who's in control of the situation. He doesn't have to pass on the ball. He can go, right, get up, get on with it.
Toze, do you think Arsenal fans should be losing patience with Arteta?
No.
No, mate.
I don't think so, no. I think if you think about it, it's only their second year back in the Champions League. They had a complete rebuild. I know it's been 5 years, he's won one trophy, but I think you definitely give him at least this whole next year, because who do you replace him with anyway?
Yeah.
I like him. I think he is constantly looking for more ways to improve. He's constantly looking at... I know people don't like him.
Look at where they finish and the progression, and you'd say, no, you can't. Like we were talking about it earlier on this season, if you said to Man United fans, you're going to be where Arsenal are in 5 years, they'd probably snap your hand off. Yeah. Although the argument is United are still winning trophies, aren't they?
Are they?
Well, they won the FA Cup last season, they're potentially for the Europa.
I know, but I'd still rather...
But who's better?
I'd still rather be where Arsenal are.
Exactly.
He's a world-class manager. I think he's a world-class manager, and if they were to sack him, he would go and get a world-class job at a world-class team.
But the only thing, if I was an Arsenal fan, right, I'd want... You look at all the signings that he's made, right? And a lot of... I saw this on Instagram the other day, and a lot of them you go,
midfielder.
Not sure about that.
Midfielder.
But then, if I was an Arsenal fan, I'd want to sit down, like whether it's not an AGM or a club forum or whatever it is, and I'd love to try and ask these questions and say, why didn't we go out and buy this striker? Why? Because there are a few decisions that you would have to question.
I think they were speaking after the game, weren't they? And Carragher and Neville had a big old kick-off about it, really. Carragher... they were basically saying that they've signed one striker in 5 years. That's what they've done. They've signed one striker in 5 years. And everybody else around them has got a striker, somebody that will put the ball in the back of the net. And I think it's being proven now that you do need it. I went to watch the PSG game in the week, actually. We had a wicked time, right? It was class. But it was so evident and obvious that Arsenal just didn't have a striker, yeah? PSG necessarily didn't either, but they've got flying red arrows everywhere, lads, honestly. They have got so much pace that when they break, they've got 3 or 4 men up there anyway. Arsenal just didn't have that. They didn't have a focal point. They had to resort to Partey launching the ball into the box and hoping for little scraps and this and that. Raya eventually was just kicking it long and there's no real target man to hit. And it's just... You could just see the difference was they didn't have a guy who was willing to just stand up there and go, right, I'm going to put the ball in the back.
Yeah, the one thing I've really noticed with Arsenal, especially this season, is that they can't score a goal out of nothing. No. Like, like when a few months back when Ederson played the ball over for Haaland, he just bumped the defender, he's thrown goal.
Haven't got that.
Haven't got that.
No,
it's like everything has to be so hard.
And you can see that they don't work on that either. They don't work on that in training. They work on scoring the perfect goal all the time. They work on pass, move, get it up there and then pass it, goal. So they work on that.
What's gone on then? So, like, obviously Arsenal are a good team and they are finishing high in the league. Watto, why aren't these decisions being made? So we can look at it and go... It's quite glaring. Yeah. Why haven't they made and pulled the trigger?
I honestly don't know, because everybody who knows anything about football can see that Arsenal have lacked the forward areas for a couple of years now, and they've had windows upon windows to try and do that. There must be something inside with the financial stuff or something where they haven't gone big. But I think Arteta's a great manager. I think it'd be a huge mistake to let him go like they ended up doing with Emery, because he's proven sure that he's the great manager and Villa are lucky to have him. And I think, like Ben said, if they let Arteta go, I think another club would really reap the rewards from that. But I still think for him and that club, it is huge this summer. Whatever the financial implications are, they have got to go massive in the forward area, and then it's game on next season.
Top scorer in the Premier League from this season, still Kai Havertz on 9 goals.
He's been injured for 4 months.
But you're not going to win the league on that, are you? And I know they've done well to come back and get 2 apiece yesterday, but like they can be passed by a City, they can be passed by a Newcastle.
Yeah.
You know, and for all that we rave about it, yes, they're going to still finish in the Champions League, but they might not even finish second. And the key to them, and I'm sure, as soon as the window shut, Arteta knew for sure that they made a right balls up of it.
I think the game against Newcastle is... So Arsenal's next game, obviously, Newcastle.
Oh, my God.
And I would fancy Newcastle. I really would.
They've got the number, yeah.
The wind has been taken out of Arsenal's sails like you wouldn't believe this season. It's almost gone to pot, hasn't it? It's almost gone to pot.
They've been so comfortable in second place that what's the real driver for them in the league? Whereas Newcastle have had that, haven't they?
Does it really matter if they finish second or third?
I think it does.
Really? To Arsenal fans, it does.
It does.
Do you really?
I think if they would have steamrolled...
I think it matters to everyone else more than it does to Arsenal fans.
This is why I think Newcastle. I think it matters more to Newcastle to finish second now. Arsenal have been there all season.
Newcastle winning that League Cup and finishing second in the league.
Incredible season.
Yeah.
Give Eddie Howe manager of the season now. If that happens, honestly, give him...
Honestly, if they finish third... If they finish third and win the League Cup...
If they beat Arsenal, which I think they like, that's the difference between the two teams. There is Alexander Isak. Yeah, he is so tailor-made for Arsenal. He is a joke, right? What Arsenal need is a player that can drop a little bit, get involved with the play, spin, get back up in there, put the ball in the back of the net for us. That's what they need as a sort of player.
But who is there out there as well for Arsenal to go and get? Like,
striker-wise,
yeah.
They're on about is it the Sheck? Oh no,
Sesko.
Sesko, yeah, Benjamin Sesko, somebody like that. But like even then, it's a big ask to get a player from the German league to come over into the Premier League and just hit it straight away. It's such a big ask.
But they'd probably end up with that. Is it Jonathan David from?
Lille.
From Lille, yeah.
But we'll be saying if they got somebody like him, he's not a proper centre forward.
Is he on a free as well this summer? Am I right?
I think he is,
you look at Alexander Isak for Newcastle, it's taken him 2 or 3 years to get to this point. It takes you 2 or 3 years of acclimatising, of building up, of bulking up, of getting used to the...
Well, look at Højlund. He was the one who was made for the Premier League, wasn't he, physically and everything? But
nowhere near it still. Absolutely nowhere near it.
I went to the United game,
wasn't it?
Bilbao, and the ball just bounces off him. And the thing is, though, you can hear the crowd get frustrated, but they're not on him.
Yeah, they're not turning.
It's a little bit like Darwin. He works so hard that people appreciate it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But the quality's
But
just
you have to
not
be there
there
to see it, don't you? And you can see it. I know when you're watching live, you see the balls into him, but you can see everything, and you know he's working in areas he's trying. But to get to that level of a Premier League footballer and working at Man United...
It's next level. You've actually got to be a proper player.
You've got to be a proper player.
And no seeds of doubt whatsoever.
No, you've got to be a proper player.
And we missed it last week, and we saw it in the news down Lukey's way, right? EFL legend Dean Lewington, right?
Oh, yeah.
Has recently retired, and we just want to have a little appreciation moment for him, don't we?
915 appearances, Dean Lewington.
What a good player as well. I played against him quite a lot of times.
I played against him as well. When I remember we played MK Dons in the Cup when I was at Watford in 2005. And it was when they had it was like, remember when that weird time when Wimbledon folded and MK Dons were the ones that took over from them, and they didn't even really have a stadium because it was an FA Cup match. They had to build like temporary seating.
Did you play at that hockey stadium?
Yeah, it was a weird hockey stadium. It was
in MK Dons.
And they had to build the stands up and that. And I remember him playing on the day there and just running around with his big ginger afro, just kicking.
915 appearances for them.
It's very
right.
Good.
He's played for two. Sorry, Dean. This is how old he is. What a brilliant career he's had. He's played for two clubs in his career. It is MK Dons and Wimbledon, the original Wimbledon.
I was going to say, please don't call Wimbledon AFC Wimbledon, all right? Because they were not AFC Wimbledon.
So he's played for MK Dons and the original Wimbledon.
Yeah.
I wonder what that original Wimbledon team looked like. Who was in that team?
That was just after the crazy gang, wasn't it?
Was it John Scales?
It's got to be a little bit after that.
It was just after the crazy gang, it was, yeah. So 2003, 2004.
900 games is phenomenal, isn't it? Wow.
Yeah.
He's got a better body than us three put together, obviously, to do that.
I don't know, mate. I've seen some pictures. He's got a right little keggage on him, mate.
Yeah, but he's always one that's... I always found, like, managers would be a bit disrespectful towards him because he's a big guy and they'd always be like, you get him. No, people don't go past him.
Worrier.
Brilliant.
Worrier. That's the reason why you play that many games in football and you have that long of a career is because you're a good, honest, hard-working, solid, dependable lad.
A worrier?
warrior.
Warrior?
Not somebody that like worries about stuff. Somebody
What's
that like
worrying got to do with
I
that?
tell you what, he wouldn't have that lock of hair if he'd had 915 matches and worried a lot.
Dean, legend.
Dean Lewington,
Legend.
Well done.
Right, Fozzie, I want to get your take on this absolute... What's the best word? Weapon? Marankis.
Evangelos.
Yeah. Storming the pitch, up to Nuno. Greatest season they've had in modern history.
Oh.
What the hell is he doing?
You can't do it. You really can't do it. It's. I think the reason why he was so annoyed was the fact Awoniyi had just slidden into the post, hadn't he?
Yeah.
And it looked horrible. In fairness to it, like it looked absolutely horrible. Me and Louis were watching it and just went, "Oh my gosh, that was disgusting." He obviously couldn't continue, and Nuno didn't go and then replace him, so he's got 10 men on the pitch. And if that is what it's for, that's the reason why he stormed onto the pitch. You just can't have it. You can't accept it. You don't understand how much of a bad message that sends, not only to the manager, to the fans, to all the players. It just undermines Nuno. It undermines him so massively, and it's awful. It really, really is awful. And I understand it's his football team, and I understand it's his passion, and he's Greek, and that's what they're a bit fiery. And I get that he wants to finish in the Champions League places, but you can't do this. You can't let emotion boil over like that.
We're seeing the tip of the iceberg here, because like we wouldn't have a compromise. We've heard stories, right, from players and stuff about this guy, and this is just the tip of the iceberg, I'm telling you now.
As he was walking into the...
Booted that cone.
He's booted like this flimsy little... And even that's rolled towards Nuno, hasn't it? Nuno's almost like stumbled over.
But you could see Nuno's interview afterwards. You could see that is the interview of somebody. Everyone's going, oh, he's played that really well. And he was diplomatic. But that is the interview of somebody that deals with that shit daily.
He didn't even answer it. He didn't even answer the question.
You know what, though? And I thought he did do well in the interview, and he played it down, which you've got to do. Yeah. But, like, he's obviously dealing with that, and you put it quite eloquently, shit every day. But do you know what? That can be the tipping point, because Nuno, dealing with things privately as a manager, with owners, I've seen it all my career. Some of it is really, really tough, but it's part of the manager's job. That's why you paid very, very well. You have to deal with the ownership, and you've got to then deal with the football side of it. But that crossed the line yesterday, and I think you could see Nuno's an emotional guy. I thought he was quite shocked when he seen him on the field, to be honest. I think he thought, like, it's... And that might be the start of the end for him at Forest.
Yeah.
Because as a manager with his quality, and for all the private stuff you deal with, when it crosses the line and then he's fielding questions in the interviews, not about the football match and why Leicester managed to get a point, but because the owner's on the field, it's just taking it to another level, and he'll feel very, very, very disrespected.
They are, because they've had a brilliant season, regardless of what happens for the last couple of games. But, like, don't get it wrong, that club is not a Brighton. They are not a Brentford. They are not a Bournemouth.
Like that.
They are not ran like that. And anybody that thinks they're going to morph into one of those clubs, they are mistaken.
Luke's just put the league table up from last season. 17th position. Yeah?
I think he's handled that unbelievably.
17th position they finished last season.
Do you know, a manager could have easily turned around and gone, like, because the emotion of the game as well, you're on the sideline, you're emotional, he's emotional, that could have been horrendous. Yeah. That could have turned into an absolute slagging match on the side of the pitch.
Do you know what it kind of reminds me of a little bit is what it's like at Watford a little bit, yeah? Genuinely, it does.
That's not really going to end well, is it?
Exactly that. This is what I'm saying. This is where, like, making these emotional decisions, hasty emotional decisions to come onto the pitch, to sack.
What minute has he decided to come on the pitch?
Like, it never ends well. It genuinely doesn't. Nothing ever comes from instant, impulsive, emotional decisions, right? And I've seen it at Watford so many times where he won't come on the pitch and do it, but he does it straight away afterwards.
In the changing room.
In the changing rooms. Or he'll do it at the training ground, in front of everybody, and everybody sees it, and everybody knows exactly what's going on, and you just think, I don't like this, because I know that manager's got no power, yeah? As soon as you know the manager's got no power, it's almost like you'll lose respect, and the players will subconsciously just not have to give it quite so much, because they know the top dog is.
Well, the players have seen all that, but
it's
like
awful.
If Nuno's in at the training ground this morning, which they'll be recovering after the game, his first protocol this morning, straight to the director of football, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
What was that? What was that?
I mean, what are you saying to me? Like, how am I supposed to...
Yeah, but who not being funny, but often with these kind of ownerships you had at Watford, that That director is the owner's boy.
He's the owner's boy. He's the yes.
That's how it goes.
You'd have to
yes man.
call a team meeting as well, wouldn't you? You have to call a team meeting and be like, lads,
address it. You've got to address it.
The owner is the owner. Blah, 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 we've dealt with it, let's move on. Because like you said about that respect thing, the players could easily now go, right, he ain't the main man.
Yeah.
I don't have to work as hard now, because he'll be gone next week.
Nuno and, let's say, Watford managers, they won't have friends in the hierarchy, will they?
No, it doesn't work like that. It's the owner, the owner's boy, the owner's boy, the owner's boy, the owner's boy,
The owner's bitch.
the owner's coach boy, the owner's coach boy, manager.
What do you mean by coach boy?
So, for example, at Watford, there are a lot of coaches at Watford who are employed by the club, who are employed by the owner. They're not brought in by the manager.
Spies?
I didn't say that. You said that. The manager at Watford gets to bring in probably, possibly, maybe a goalie coach and an assistant manager, and that's about your lot. That's all you're getting. The rest of what you got to work with are people that have already been instilled there by the owner.
Yeah,
so
fair.
You don't really have anybody to go and, like, say, if this happens, you don't get to call anybody. You don't get to call a technical director or a football director and go, what happened on Saturday, mate? No, don't work like that.
That's the problem that happened at Watford, and it'll happen here at Forest. You guys will know it. In the dressing room, it's a unique environment, isn't it? And the disappointment of drawing with Leicester yesterday and all the emotion of feeling though them 2 points might be pivotal, that's not what you're talking about this morning in the changing room.
Nothing to do
You're
with
talking about the manager being confronted on the field by the owner, and that doesn't give you players that feel for pushing on, A, in these two games, but B, you'd be thinking, he might not be here.
Yeah. The only way this can get resolved genuinely is they can't sweep it under the rug. They can't. What has to happen is the owner probably has to come in this morning with Nuno and go, get the whole team together and go, I'm so sorry, lads. I'm so sorry.
I don't see that happening.
Mate, I'm so
Chances of
sorry.
that happening?
But it's the only way, really, that anybody can move forward without
that
it
would have
being
gone
the
into the
topic
dressing room, though, wouldn't it? It would have spilled into the dressing
Of course it
room.
has.
The owner would have been in there.
Exactly.
He'd have probably been, I'm guessing, berating
that.
everyone.
So unless he comes in and says, listen, I'm really sorry, I shouldn't have done that. It was emotions, it took over me and it won't happen again.
Not a
I'm really,
chance.
really sorry. I've undermined the manager. I've undermined you. It shouldn't happen.
And he's... So Marankis has diluted his shares in the club and put them into a blind trust because of the assumption they were going to get into the Champions League.
Yeah.
Now he owns Olympiacos, and you can't have two ownership models of
in the
two
Champions
teams
League
in the same European competition.
Yeah.
So he's gone and done all that, and they're not going to make Champions League.
Well, yeah, by the looks of it, I would say that they're not going to get into the Champions League. Now, momentum is not with them.
It is a
whatsoever.
shame. They've won one in the last six.
Yeah.
Although Chris Wood has got notched one closer to the 100 club.
Luke, can you just back me up on something? I'm pretty sure that earlier in the season that I said, me and Tom had a bet, and I said Chris Wood will score 20 Premier League goals this season.
Prove it.
Pretty sure? It was money. It was a monetary bet,
it was
wasn't it?
100 club.
It was definitely not. It was 20 goals in the season. You went, he's never going to score. 20 goals in a season is an unbelievable achievement. I went, yeah, he's going to do it, 100%. So Chris Wood scored his 20th goal of the season at the weekend against Leicester.
Prove it.
Well done, because honestly, that is some achievement.
How many is he
is-
off 100 now?
Yeah, how many is he off 100?
Yeah, I reckon
Jay?
he's only 6 or 7.
We spoke about it early in the season, didn't you? And you said easy, he'll get there easy. He needs to score however many this. He's going to score 25 this season, 15 next. You were like, and I was
I'm not a million. He needs 11 for the 100 club. 11 goals for the 100 club. He's got 2 more games left of the season.
Yeah, he
He's
gets
got,
that, doesn't he?
He's got another year, or at least 2 years left, maybe. He's cooking, mate. Of course he's
if he
getting it.
scores, let's say he goes in for 10 next season. 10 next season's not a given because they're not going to have the season they had this season.
No, sure, but I'd still back Chris Wood, even if he's not the main man next season.
How good was Gibbs White's ball, by the way? Sorry.
That is just off.
How good's he?
He is very, very good.
They're a phenomenal team, aren't they? And they'll be really frustrated finishing like they finished, 1 winning 6, because really it were in their hands, wasn't it? You know what I mean? They should have got over the line into that Champions League. But the league's a tough league, and there's no gimmies. And to be fair to Leicester yesterday, obviously it's a big derby match. They turned up and put on a decent show.
That was their FA Cup final, wasn't it?
It doesn't feel like a derby.
No, I know what you mean.
Does it?
I know. I think.
What is it, M1?
It's because it's you've got two teams with complete contrasting fortunes. Obviously, Leicester done and dead and buried even like a month ago, or whatever it was. Forest, you can tell the wind has gone out their sails a little bit. There were some big games yesterday, and to be fair, I didn't mind it being on the telly. It was a good spectacle, but there were some good games that I probably would have rather had on the telly yesterday.
Newcastle.
Newcastle, phenomenal, by the way. Should we talking about the Newcastle game? Should we move on to a couple of naughty little red card decisions?
Well, a couple of little elbows that need a discussion. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Which one should we start with? Nicholas Jackson, his elbow on Dan Burn. He got the red card for it in the 20th minute. Yeah. It's a red card.
Red card all day.
Red card.
It's unanimous.
All day.
It's unanimous. Why is it a red card, Watto?
Well, because he's looking to do it.
It's a coward's, coward's challenge.
Yeah, he's look, I don't know the guy at all, but he knows what he's doing there. He's looking for it all day, and when you see the eye, when you talk about the ball up there and he's looking at the ball and all, that's different. But he's never looked at that.
No.
He's just seen him and he's thought...
And he's just led.
I'm giving you one. He's done well to actually get up there because Burn's a big guy, isn't he?
Big old guy, yeah. But Burn was bent down, wasn't he? You said coward's challenge.
Yeah, free hit.
Explain why.
Well, you're sitting duck there as a defender. You can only have eyes on the ball.
Yeah.
And he doesn't care about the ball. He's just thinking, I don't know if he's definitely saying I'm going to leave one on him, but you see these... Back in the day, these were happening all the time, weren't they?
Yeah.
All the time. Yeah. But now that you can't get away with it, yeah, for me, it's a coward's challenge.
He's basically gone, right, I'm just going to try and hurt him a little bit. I'm not saying he's trying to wow him in the face, but he's saying I'm trying to hurt him. Nowadays, you have got no chance on this earth if a VAR looks at that of getting away with it. It was a red card, 20 minutes into the game, kills Chelsea. They've got absolutely no chance for the rest of the game. They're already 1-0 down anyway. And it was a massive game for them as well. It was a massive game for them. That could cost them Champions League football next year.
It's not only the points, is it? He's done for the season, and rightly so, because it's a coward's challenge and deserved a red card. But Chelsea, obviously, the finish at Forest, it's going to be a huge game.
I'll be honest with you, Chelsea actually looked probably better without him. Chelsea were decent, by the way. Chelsea were really, really decent. They had some unbelievable chances. Nick Pope made one save down to his left,
mate.
Went through legs, went through bodies. How good is that?
Yeah.
So they always say about Nick Pope, big lads can't get down. Mate, he got down so sharp. It was $1 million.
Well, you saw the goalkeeping masterclass in the week.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
He texted me before the game.
Right,
he said, this guy is massive. He's so big.
Do you know what? He's so big, right? He's like, do you know like Hodor from Game of Thrones? Hold the door! Yeah? The way he walks around, right, he genuinely walks around like a little bit sort of like humpbacky sort of thing. Genuinely, he walks around a bit like that because he must be 6'7", 6'8".
Yeah,
he must be, right?
Massive,
And I was watching him in the warm-up because we got there, an hour before kick-off, so then we watched the warm-up and he was a little bit sloppy in the warm-up, really. A little bit sloppy. There were certain ones where he would go down to catch it and he would pop it out, or like you could have really tried to catch it but didn't, and just sort of let it fall out here. And if that's in a game, people are just finishing. I'm thinking, come on, mate, you got Champions League semi-final here, mate. I want you to be really right and sharp on it. Game kicks off. Oh my God, the save he makes from Martin Odegaard, right? The save he made from I think it's as good as it gets. Genuinely, it's about. If I'd have made that save, I'd go, it's probably the best save I've ever made in my life. It was phenomenal. And
how does he do that?
Mate, he was so sharp. It was like, he must get this adrenaline buzz, right, of when the game kicks off, everything kicks in and it's just like, it's game time. And that's the difference.
Do you know how old he is?
He's only mid-20s.
27?
26.
Mate, he's honestly...
been around for 10 years.
It was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. And there was a few like balls into the box which he was a bit sloppy on. But even then, though, I thought, I'd still rather him be coming out for it and making a nuisance of himself. Because if I see 6'7" Donnarumma coming out, mate, and I'm a striker or I'm going, nah, mate, just take it, whatever.
He made some good saves in the first leg as well,
the saves he made, the one from Saka, he tipped it over as well. Not many other...
he's read the situation, he's there and he's got the agility.
Mate, only him and Thibaut, I think, make that save. Genuinely. And probably Alisson as well. Only they make it because they're big. Because they're big, tall goalies. Martinez would have made it, true. Because they're big and they read it.
But you see Pickford, did you see Pickford's save yesterday when he hurt himself?
Yeah, it was lovely, wasn't it?
And it was obviously a good save, but I did think to myself, if that's Nick Pope or...
Oh, mate, he's almost catching it.
Yeah.
He's backtracking it and one hand just pat it down or something.
I actually thought he might have done a bit of a Lloris when he
landed
down,
because he was like...
Yeah. It looked sore, didn't it?
Yeah, it did look sore. It was a great save.
So if Newcastle finish second or third, they've won the League Cup, what will the club's expectation be next season?
It'll just carry on like this, keep building.
Do you think they could challenge for a title, genuinely?
I don't think they're there.
No?
I think they need to add probably one in each forward, midfield, defence to really kind of...
What, three kind of big boy signings?
They need
Centre-half.
They need 3 big boy signings, probably. But they're not a million miles away from it. They're really not. Going into the game against Arsenal on next week, I fully expect Newcastle to win the game. I really, really do.
That'll be a draw.
Mate, brilliant. He's a proper player, mate.
Yeah.
He's a fantastic player.
He's always had that there, hasn't he? But they've managed him so well as well. They've never needed to go, right, we need you to be fit to start the game now. They've been able to...
The challenge they will have is if they get, as we assume, Champions League, backing it up next year, and it's a bit like Villa this year. Are Villa going to crawl into the Champions... They get so successful, and they've got great talent and actually very, very good squads, but they're still not big enough to compete on all fronts. That's where your fear is, because like Villa this year, if they don't get in that top 5, it's nothing.
Yeah.
Which is unbelievable.
It's amazing, really. It's almost like Chelsea losing every other week and they're still 5th.
Yeah.
It's mad, isn't it? Like, I don't know how.
A glitch in the matrix,
I swear, somebody just keeps adding points onto their total or something.
I know. I expect to look at the league table and see them in 7th, and they're like...
still 5th. Like, where from? Like, how?
So true.
I know, right. The second red card then. That wasn't a red card. Tyrone Mings, Toze, take it away.
It's not a red.
Okay.
I think because he's a big lad, and sorry, it was the Alex Scott.
Yeah.
And he's a small lad. Like he hasn't meant to elbow him. He's put his arm out there, and if it's a bigger lad, it doesn't crack him in the face. But because he's shorter, I mean, I've struggled with that against smaller strikers at times. You put your arm out, and you think, oh gosh, could have had him there. But no, I don't think there's any malice in it whatsoever. I mean, it's nasty the way he's gone down. Was he knocked out?
His jaw, wasn't he? Yeah.
Looked like straight away. Yeah.
No, it's a nasty one, but he's never gone with that intent.
Yeah.
He's not looked at him and thought, you're having it. It's like a more natural type thing, and he's probably very, very...
Remember Sol Campbell got done with it years ago? Do you remember?
Yeah.
Stepping out with the ball.
But he's gone to, like, protect the ball.
Was it Gary Mabbott, was it?
It was Sol Campbell? I don't remember that one.
I remember Gary Mabbott getting a really bad fractured jaw. Anyway, go on, sorry.
But he's gone to, like, protect the ball, but he's taken that big step.
Yeah.
But when you take the big step, your hand comes out, doesn't it? Your arm comes out.
Well, yeah, you're not going to keep your hands by your side.
Big, aren't you?
You can't.
He's just trying to protect it. He's blocking it out like that. I think probably because he's got a little bit of a bad rep for a couple bad challenges in his past. Do you remember the Zlatan one? Do you remember...
Yeah, I remember the Zlatan one.
There was another one that he did a similar sort of one where he sort of like raked some studs over somebody else. But it's never a red.
Lewis Skelly does that. He does it 10 times a game. Puts his body and his arm across, but because he's shorter, it's never getting... anyone.
Do you know what Miles Lewis-Skelly needs to be really careful of is doing that every single game and getting a yellow card for it. Yeah. He does it all the time.
Surely he'll learn.
He's getting too many yellow cards for it, where he needs to be a little bit more wiser. The players he's playing against are a lot more nimble and quicker and can nick the ball off him.
Kanatu for the goal that got disallowed last kick.
Mate.
When you're marking him at the corner. My God.
He did just go...
He said, you're not grabbing me, mate.
Yeah,
game though, isn't it? Game.
Yeah, no.
And Fozzie, what about mate Ollie Watkins?
Yeah, well done.
Surpassing
Gabby. Super Gabby Agbonlahor. Yeah, fair dues. It's fantastic. Again, a fantastic result for Villa. Like, that's a tough game, you know. Bournemouth, on their day, beat anybody in this league. Absolutely anybody in this league. It's a massive result for them.
I think that's really opened the door up for Villa.
Yeah.
Tottenham, Friday night, Man United to finish with a European final for them two teams. I think they're going to get... I think that puts them on 69, so it puts a bit of pressure on the other team.
So what's happened is, and it's a bit unprecedented as well, to be fair, is the Premier League have agreed to move the game, which would have been on a Sunday. So the Tottenham Villa game would have been on a Sunday. They've moved it to the Friday night so that they've got the same amount of time as Manchester United to prepare for the Europa League final, which is in the week before the final game of the season. And Villa, obviously, you would back them to beat Spurs.
Yeah, look,
you would back them to beat Spurs, because Spurs probably are going to rest.
Who are Man U playing, sorry?
Chelsea,
yeah.
So they could both go into that final having lost 2 on the bounce.
I'm almost certain they will, because
the momentum's going to be.
And then on the final game of the season, Villa have got Manchester United, who will have either just won or lost the Europa League final. And I just think it's tailor-made for them to win both of these games, 6 points from it. I think that sees them into the Champions League.
And that's why it's going to then be tough for Chelsea, because I think Chelsea will roll Man United.
Yeah.
And then Chelsea are at Forest last
final
night,
game of the season.
Which is incredible. But when we talk about Spurs and United, which we will in a little bit, they're going to finish just above the bottom three.
They could both finish on 40 points.
Mate,
39
them two teams, I think that's where they finish on the point.
Yeah,
they're not getting 40 points.
How bad is that?
Never in the history of ever, yeah?
Wow.
As a team finished 16th and 17th in their domestic league and then the following season played Champions League football.
But they've both lost 4 out of 5 league games.
That's their current form.
Right? And the other game was a draw for both of them. What's the thought process here, Ben? Because my view is that both managers and clubs are almost hiding behind this Europa final.
Yeah, they both are, without doubt. Let's start with Spurs, for example, OK? So they've lost a game quite convincingly against Crystal Palace at the weekend, 2-0. Palace are a very good team either way, like, so I wouldn't look at that as anything, but because they absolutely battered them, in all fairness. They battered them. But after the game, what I found really interesting, they interviewed Ange and they said, what's gone wrong? And he went, I think it's a bit obvious, Good day, mate. I think it's bloody obvious what's went wrong this season.
Shrimp on the barbie?
and the reporter went, OK, what is it? Can you tell me, please?
Is that obvious?
And he kind of just laughed and went, he said, basically, if we didn't have such a big run in the Carabao Cup and the Europa League, then our priorities would have been different. And I'm just thinking, come on, mate, you're Spurs. You can't just go, right, we'll just down tools in the Premier League. We're not getting relegated, so it doesn't matter where we finish, so let's just all focus on winning that. And again, even this, though, is really important and really interesting, because I was listening to TalkSport, it was Goldstein and Benty the other night, and you had a lot of Tottenham fans. The question was, would you rather have this season where you win the Europa League and get Champions League football, this horrific season, yeah, or one of the unreal seasons under Pochettino where you get to the Champions League final and you're top 3-4 in the Premier League? What season would you rather have? And most Tottenham fans, Luke, would have this season where they win Europa League.
But that's only because they're not a cup-winning team.
Not a chance.
They're not a trophy-winning team.
I'm just quoting what.
So you'd rather be
said.
Crap for 99%.
So Luke here is a Tottenham fan. Luke, what would you rather have? That Champions League season with Pochettino against Liverpool, yeah, or this season winning the Europa League?
I need a trophy.
Yeah, you want a trophy. They want a trophy.
I think that sums up Tottenham and their mentality.
Spursy.
That is so Spursy, it's ridiculous. That's winding me up. That's like a loser's mentality, isn't it?
But they are. That's what that club is. It's a losing
I've seen so many of these debates
so bad.
on TalkSport. I've seen so many of these debates. But what I think gets lost in it is you can't take it completely as an isolated season, because you have to look, is progress being made? And the answer is, if they win the Europa... No, it's not. It's not.
But do you know what it does, though, right? So if they win the Europa League, they get into the Champions League next final, the money involved with getting to the Champions League is phenomenal.
So what happened last season, then? Remember, they had the chance to play Man City to get into the Champions League, and they'd rather lose to Man City,
Arsenal,
it put them on the back foot, and it's just...
Oh, come on. But what do they want the big money for? Just to pay him off?
Yeah.
Hey, that's all they're going to use the money for. Get rid of him and get another money. But you can't
It's who we
put
are,
into
mate.
words
That's what we said.
how big that match is for both of them.
Oh, it's massive.
But they should be nowhere near the Champions League, either of them teams, because it's just their names.
Do you know what? I get Spurs fans, and I think I would be the same as Spurs fans. I really do. I really do. Do you know why? Because football is about moments, yeah?
You're
so
right.
Birmingham City, we won the league that season, but we got relegated. And do you know what? You ask Birmingham fans now, and they go, don't care. Best day of my life. Best day of my life was that one individual
No
day.
disrespect, but
It's a
Birmingham
different
and Man U and Tottenham.
Of course it is. Of course it is. But success hasn't come naturally to these teams either. Maybe Man United a little bit more, but Tottenham, in their recent history, Carling Cup in, 2011, was it? 29 or...
16.
Luke can't even remember
like
him
that.
lifting a trophy.
Yeah.
That's why he wants them to win one.
Like, that's the last time.
2008, wasn't it?
This is a proper trophy, by the way. Like, the Europa League trophy is a proper trophy, isn't it, Luke?
I think, do you know what? When Man U played...
2007, 2008 season.
Yeah, when Man U
beat
played
Chelsea.
Bilbao at home, and they had the... No, was it Bill? No, who was the quarter-final against? Leon. And they had that... What do they call them? Tifos?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did that before the game, and I was like, how the mighty have fallen, right? Man United have got this massive show on for the quarter-final of the Europa League. Like, that, for me, Man U was always there.
Yeah.
Like, for me now...
The Europa League would be a disgrace to them 10 years ago. It's an absolute shambles.
Sad.
But they're going through the worst run in their recent history, yeah? They're the worst they've been for God knows however long. But you look at the last 5 years, they've still won things.
Right, everybody at home, in the comments, please, yeah? If you're one of those sort of like middling teams that hasn't won anything in 10, 15, 20 years, right? And you are 17th in the Premier League, you're not going to get relegated, but you are in a Champions League final or Europa League final, right?
It's different, Ben.
No, it's not.
No, it's different for different teams.
Winning something. Like Lee said there, he wants a trophy. He needs a trophy.
But they're accustomed to being a top 6, 7 team and having qualified for Champions League in recent years. It's very different to say Spurs are going to finish 16th or whatever.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's ideal.
That is such a massive game. Do them two managers start managing them clubs in the Premier League next season?
One of them does. The red one does.
But how does a whole season, the league finishes that bad, that how can they justify, the clubs this is, that a whole season hinges on one game?
Because that's football.
It's bigger than that.
That is what it is.
But Man United are at the same cusp as what they were surely last year then. Ten Hag won the FA Cup final and
they're in a worse position.
They're in a worse position.
They're in a worse position.
This guy, he's walking on water, this guy, this Amarin at Man United.
Yeah,
I'm telling you that. He's walking on water.
If Spurs or United have finished 10th and won it, it's a slightly different scenario. But if there were 3 better teams in that league, right, the point tally they're on now is relegation territory in a lot of other seasons.
Ten Hag must be sat at home thinking, our manager of the season, mate, with this lot.
Yeah.
Manager of the season.
And counting his money.
Yeah.
I don't think they could afford to sack him.
Mate, they can't. They've made. I just do not understand it. Honestly, Man United, like you've been there, and I know some guys that have been involved and still speak to Tom Eaton a little bit. It's unbelievable what has happened to that football club. Honestly, it's unbelievable, and they are nowhere near.
It is. Mate, honestly, some of the money they're spent on players, on wages that are getting paid week in, week out at that club is just like the game, right? So West Ham, they basically play the same sort of formation as Man United, same sort of thing as what Crystal Palace do. And shock, they're good at doing it and used to doing it, and they just dismantled Man United. Should have got something from the game, don't get me wrong. They had chances, and Areola made a couple of worldy saves and that. But I'm just looking at the way that Man United concede goals, like the second goal, right? Like Ugarte, Ugarte's in the middle, right? And he gets dispossessed. He's supposed to be this like real hard-working, like soldier, kind of like.
To be fair, it was a bad tackle on him.
It was not a bad tackle. Good. I was going to nibble then.
It was good.
Right? He's tried to just use his body, right? Players just gone, all right, I'll run round you and nick it off you then, and just run into space. Not a thought of getting back or helping his teammates. He's just laid on the floor and gone, you know what?
It was the way he fell down like a dentist chair.
Never mind, I'll just chill here then. 3 seconds later, the ball's in the back of the net. 3 seconds later, the ball's in the back of the net.
There's some good news from the West Ham side of things for you, isn't there?
Go on.
They're letting Fabianski go, aren't they?
No, they say, hey, I don't take no pleasure in this, you know.
No?
I don't take no pleasure in this.
There's a little glint in your eye there, mate. There's a little glint in your eye.
That record stays intact, does it?
Right, so just for a bit of context here, so I've currently got the most Premier League saves in the history of the Premier League. And Fabianski is like right on my tail. He's like 50 away or something like that. And if he would have carried on this season, so when Areola got in, if Fabianski would have carried on playing, he would have definitely broken my record and he would be the record holder. But like you say there, I think Fabianski's getting let go at the end of the season. But what even if he did take it, I don't care. I love Lucas.
I think another Premier League team's going to nibble on him just to upset you.
Yeah, just
a newly promoted team,
Leeds,
like a Southampton, or that where he's going to get 10 saves a game.
Oh, peppered, yeah.
A young lad, 15 years old, Jeremy Monga, came on at the weekend for Leicester, and he nearly scored. And if he would have scored, it would have gone off, by the way. That's it, really. I just want to say, for a 15-year-old to be coming on in the Premier League, like, phenomenal.
And the news is that, they're not the news, but the rumour is that City are going to snap him up.
Probably. Ruud van Nistelrooy said afterwards, basically, if he could just focus a little bit more on his football and not on his schoolwork, then he'd probably have put his chance in the back of the net. So, like, buckle down, mate. Jeremy, come on, buckle down.
Knock off double science.
Yeah, come on, mate. He has got his GCSEs this week, though, so good luck, Jeremy.
I don't think he'll be needing them. Do you?
No.
I can't see.
Hopefully not.
No. Right, should we go quiz?
Yeah. Quick question. If he's got his GCSEs, by default, does he get an A star in He's
PE.
practical for PE. He does.
Should do.
No, he does automatically. Why? Because you can do.
Because he's
you pick
exceptional at
two sports,
something.
don't you?
Yeah.
So George, I think, is going to do football and badminton or whatever. So automatically, he'll get an A star.
All right, so hold on a minute then. Right?
That's
So
not hard. I got an
who's
A-star.
who's like a big lump of a footballer?
Donnarumma.
No, yeah. Right? Who would be a big lump? Go on. Wow, you've come for Akinfenwa.
Oh my God!
Oh my God!
Hey,
Jamie.
I wouldn't have that. I wouldn't
You
have
have
that.
come for Adebayo Akinfenwa on the football filling. Young Jamie. Hey,
He would dust you up.
he
as well.
would dust you. He would literally pick you up and just like,
Yeah,
oh
he'd
yeah.
back
Actually, he's not bad at table tennis, but he's just a wall.
Is it?
That's
Yeah,
all.
just
Yeah,
get
he's just a
boring,
wall.
boring,
Yeah,
boring.
really boring.
So anyway, my point is, right, so
I don't know what you're pointing.
maybe not necessarily, I'm saying a big lump, somebody who's not necessarily technically very good at football, right, but they'll hold the ball up for you. Yeah?
Okay.
Do they get an A-star in their PE practical because they're a professional footballer?
Yeah.
I disagree.
Anyway, on to the quiz then.
Yeah,
boys.
quiz time.
Everyone, welcome to the football filling quiz. The scores on the doors. Tom is already the main man.
Guard
He's
of
won it
honour.
all.
Why the
He's
fuck?
Liverpool.
Yeah.
Why the fuck do you keep telling us the scores? We know them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but someone.
Just crack on. Question
yeah, but-
one.
Yeah, but someone might be new to the show.
I sent him a video, actually. I sent him a
Think
video.
about the new
Yeah,
viewers.
Congratulating. No, you don't have to play that.
Think about the new viewers. There's still some couple of challenges on. Watto's on 6. Toze is on.
Come on,
3.
Jay. Let's keep it moving.
Question
All
one.
All right.
Bayern Munich.
Not the Jamie Harvey show.
Last week I
He said intro it.
I
That's what I
listened to it. I
did.
was like,
Oh, mate, I was 2 up for 2.
I know you were, yeah.
Fuck all after that.
Yeah.
Stop swearing, Watsky.
Yeah.
Luke's going to have to beep all this out.
There's a bit of beeping out today.
Question 1. Luis Suarez won the Golden Boot in the 2013-14 Premier League season, but who was Liverpool's manager?
Klopp.
No.
Roy Hodgson.
No.
Benitez.
No.
Dalglish.
No. All back in.
Brendan Rodgers.
Brendan Rodgers is the correct answer.
5 attempts to get
Yeah.
the Liverpool man.
I remember from doing the prep for Simon Mignolet.
Huh?
I remember the second time, so I got it wrong first time.
You were tired. You would have been tired then. On the Euro stuff.
Don't do.
Yeah.
No, he said prep.
Oh, prep.
Prep.
Tom was asleep.
I was talking to a Liverpool fan in prep.
Question 2. Inter versus Barca scored 13 goals across 2 legs in the Champions League semi-final this year. This has only been done once before. Can you name
PSG Barca.
No. Can you name only one of the other 2 teams?
Oh, they said it the other day.
Come on, Jay.
Well, just
That's a
because you
good
don't know
question.
it. Because you don't know it.
Bayern
Man
Munich.
United.
Not Man United, not Bayern Munich, no. 5.
Go on. Can you repeat the question
4.
as well?
Can you
After
repeat
you
the
time him out, just get everybody going
3,
again.
2, 1.
Chelsea. Right there? Jesus Christ, Chelsea.
No.
If that had been Chelsea, then I'd have fumed.
Inter versus Barca scored 13 goals across 2 legs in the Champions League
Real Madrid.
final this year. No.
Juve.
No. This has only been done once before. Can you name one?
Is it
of
a
the other 2
semi-final?
teams? Yes. Across 2 legs.
Liverpool.
Liverpool is the correct answer. It was
against?
Roma versus Liverpool in the
Roma.
2017-18 season.
Guess question.
It's not a guess question.
Wasn't a guess question.
He knew it.
Oh, you knew Roma, yeah?
We've got 2 Liverpool questions to start here. Because I was doing prep for Simon Mignolet on that.
yeah.
Question 3. What is the only club Ian Wright has been on loan to?
Burnley.
No.
West Ham.
No. What is the only club Ian Wright has been on loan to?
Palace.
No.
I don't know.
Palace is where he started
I
with.
don't know any other
5.
teams he's played for other than...
4.
Count him.
Back there, yeah.
3.
'Cause I had one
2.
last
He didn't
week.
know.
I had
One.
one of them last week.
Out. All back in.
Arsenal.
No. What is the only club Ian Wright has been on loan to?
Was he at like a
Brighton.
No. And we say?
Coventry?
No. On you, Tom. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Millwall.
No.
It's a
Was it
London.
Cardiff, was it?
No, it's not. Sorry?
Cardiff.
No. It's Nottingham Forest.
Didn't know that.
Back in the old First Division.
No way.
Didn't
What
know
year
that.
was that?
99, 2000.
Wow.
Yeah.
When you were born,
The
that
Premier League then.
2001 I was born.
Same time Dre dropped 2001.
Yeah.
Question 4. Ben, 2-0.
Don't talk about Drake.
Going well.
Ashley Cole played in the US for LA Galaxy. However, what is the only other European country he's played in?
Roma, Italy.
Italy. Oh, you.
Wait there a second.
Yeah.
Wait there a second. You can't have two answers.
Yeah.
The answer's not Roma. It's
Italy.
Yeah, I was just giving you context, though.
No.
I was
So
just
the
giving you
answer.
context.
Do I get it then?
You've got to get
Toze got it. Roma's not a country, is it?
Jake, good officiating.
Very good referee.
Solid officiating.
I was just behind you though.
Oh, that's all right then.
Good officiating.
Good reffing.
You deserve it, Ben.
Thanks, Ben.
Good reffing.
The Operation Boys.
Yeah.
Question 5. Which player has the most Premier League appearances for Manchester City?
Fernandinho.
No.
It's a good guess.
Oh, it's a good guess.
Company.
Not in the top. No, not Company.
De Bruyne.
No, he's second. Which player has the most Premier League appearances for Manchester City?
Kyle Walker?
No. All back in. Which player has the most Premier League appearances for Manchester City?
David Silva.
David Silva's the correct answer.
Wow, I can't believe that's the right
It was there for ages and I thought.
Top 4, David Silva 309, KDB 282, Aguero 275, Edison 274.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's good.
Wow, Edison.
Good.
Question 6.
Come on, Watto.
What Premier League club has Graham Potter played for?
Southampton.
Southampton
Well
is the
done.
correct answer.
I
That's
did not
good.
know that.
Well done.
1996, 97.
Never heard
Yeah.
that.
Quick on that, Toze.
That was well quick.
It's because when I was doing my prep.
Two-horse
Yeah, it was
races.
part of prep, yeah.
Was it 3-3?
It's 3
Oh, 3-2.
3-2, yeah.
3-2. You got
Oh,
in
yeah,
front.
you didn't get that one.
So I was behind now in front.
You'd have been in front then, wouldn't you?
Right.
Question 7. Angel Di Maria has played for Manchester United, but what was the manager who signed him?
Jose.
Solskjaer.
Louis van Gaal.
No, Louis van Gaal is the correct answer.
Oh, you're on fire! Can you take that point back from him, please?
What do you mean?
Yeah,
No. Still got 3 questions left.
Tom, can't stop
I
laughing.
don't think I've even answered one yet.
Louis van Gaal's army.
He was
That's
one
what
of
I said.
he's one of the highest transfer fees of all time.
56
56 million. 56.
59.7 million.
Euros,
He-
was that? At the
No,
time,
Sterling,
conversion rate.
Sterling.
Sterling.
We both said 56,
Yeah,
didn't we?
that was-
He also signed a
We're-
5-year
that's football
deal
managers,
only
so-
at United for 1 season.
Yeah. That is
I remember
Habsburg all early doors,
scoring
didn't he?
that
Scored that goal at Leicester.
Yeah,
Wow.
little Dinko.
When it Casper in goal, that was.
Yeah.
Lovely goal.
Yeah.
Anyway, that don't get me.
Toze, you are on fire.
On fire, Toes.
Oh, yeah.
Question 8. Frank Lampard played in England and in the US. However, who... Sorry, it's been worded really weird. Let me do it again.
Didn't you write the question?
I've worded it really weird.
Luke, did you check these?
Frank Lampard played in England and in the US. However, who were the Welsh team that he played for?
Who was
The
the
what?
what?
What was the only Welsh team that he's played
Swansea.
for? Swansea.
Frank
That's the
Lampard?
correct answer. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, what's that got to do with America and bloody whatever
Because he was
else?
trying to catch...
When did Frank Lampard play for Swansea?
Played for Swansea, yeah. 3 appearances. 3 or 4
You know
appearances.
Frank
for
Lampard's
Swansea.
To be
first
fair,
Premier League goal.
you've only got 3 teams to pick from,
What-
haven't you?
what?
Do you hear that?
Yeah.
Here we go.
4 teams, sorry.
Frank Lampard's first Premier League goal were against me.
Hey, get up. Can we get up? Or is
Was it a
it
good goal,
black and
Watto?
white?
Can't remember.
Should you have done better?
Probably.
Did he lob you?
Honestly.
What are you saying? 'Cause he's small? He's only a short little goalie?
Oh, no.
No bullying in the workplace. No bullying.
Little dinosaur arms, little
Did he? Did he
T-Rex
though?
arms.
Call later.
Question 9. Darwin Núñez and what other Uruguayan played...
Cavani.
No.
Damn!
Bosley.
Ah, it's hurt my shoulder, that does. Damn
Come on,
it.
then.
Hungarian.
Come on, it's got to be
I'm gonna
Suarez,
go
isn't it?
No. Darwin Núñez and what other Uruguayan player has won the Premier League?
Oh, I know this. No.
Just
Heinz.
Count them, just count
No.
them, would you? Come
No.
on.
We've all answered.
All answer-
We're back
all back
into
in.
all
Is
that.
it Gus?
No, it's Diego Forlan. Diego Forlan. Ben, you could take this to a tiebreaker, by the way.
What's the score? 4-3?
4-3. 0-0.
We're a disaster.
Just keep it at that. It's fine.
Tom,
It is
Tom we're a
4-3.
disaster today.
Hey,
Oh,
mate,
4-3.
Four, three, let's go.
It is 4-3.
Yeah.
I'm like Arsenal in second place. Don't care now.
Yeah, I feel like
Maybe 4, maybe 4-3.
I can. I want to get one right.
All right.
Another couple of weeks and Toze would overtake you.
Yeah.
Only been on 4 times.
Yeah.
Question 10. Who got appointed as Chelsea manager when Vialli got sacked in 2001?
Di Matteo.
No.
In 2001?
Rijkaard.
No.
Wow.
2001.
Who got appointed as Chelsea manager when Vialli got sacked in
Avram Grant.
2001?
No way.
That
That was 2008. I think.
5, 4.
Ranieri.
Ranieri is the correct answer.
Oh, way.
Well done,
So that means
Tomo.
you win.
Love it.
Got one off the board.
So,
Yeah.
I just won it for you.
There you
Brilliant, I
go.
love it.
Well done, Toze.
Yeah, thanks.
Toes.
He's on.
Thanks.
He's on ya.
I know, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm on
make
you,
sure we don't
Toes
have
is
him
now
on.
on
Yeah,
form.
Make sure we don't have him on again then.
Do you want to do the tie-break just in case?
Yeah, let's do the
Andy.
tie-break.
Tiebreaker question. It's nearest to. How much did Arsenal sign Nicolas Pepe for in pounds?
72 million.
Yeah.
You have been
Sweaty.
So is that nearest?
standout players.
that just Bob on?
He's
Well
hit it
done,
on the
Toes.
head.
MVP
He's hit it
today,
on the
you've
head.
been.
Well done.
72 million.
Very good.
Yeah,
I
wow.
hope-
Want to do a winner?
No, so-
do an acceptance speech? So thank you for
I don't know who I'd like to thank. Probably, who was on last week? Robbo.
Robbo. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll thank Robbo. Cheers, Robbo.
Well done,
And your
Robbo.
missus. Always thank your missus.
Oh, thanks, Sophie. What a legend. Top woman.
Well done, Soph.
I'm about to be put to sleep, so.
We'll explain later. Love you all. Bye bye.